Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars the 30th Anniversary Collection AT-AP Walker. Alright you guys, so looking at the packaging here, I really admire the 30th Anniversary line look. Back when it came out in 2007, I was ecstatic when I first saw it. I remember being so excited and I sent a picture to my mom and she thought it was really cool. Anyway, it's just such a great packaging design. I really like how it's not just a uniform square. And even though I'm a sucker for the vintage style packaging, for a modernized sort of packaging, I think that 30th Anniversary collection was the absolute best packaging. Even now, the packaging still looks fantastic. It does show you what looks to be an image of the vehicle. I'm not sure if that is an image from the film or if it is the actual toy just kind of CGI'd to look like it could have been in the film, but either way it looks great. This is clearly on Kashyyyk. You can see all the troopers running around in the back, some of the clone turbo tanks back there, multiple AT-AP walkers, and of course the 41st Elite clone trooper up there at the top. Here at the side we basically just get a look at the vehicle from the top, and then there's the top of the box. You see it from the side, looks very nice. Here at the opposite side, same image there, just looks pretty rad. And down there at the bottom it says AT-AP Walker, and a very nice little image there of the Walker along with some of the turbo tanks. And here at the back you get some information there. Designed as mobile battlefield armor, the all-terrain attack pod is an essential walker for the clone troopers. The center leg gives the AT-AP additional stability for crossing rough terrain as the clone troopers who operate it blast the enemy with the vehicle's projectile launcher and cannons. AT-AP walkers were used on Felucia and Kashyyyk, where dense ground cover required the use of stable yet highly mobile vehicles. And you get another image right there of the vehicle, same one we see at the front. And it basically shows you what it can do. There's some numbers right there, and it just tells you about all the features that you get, like the swing up hatch covers, the chin mounted laser cannon, and down here some other vehicles available in the line, Vader's fighter and Grievous's fighter. So all in all, just really cool. Now I do remember when I first bought this, I had actually just moved to California, and I came across it at a local Walmart store. I remember it being at the very top of the shelf. It was I had to ask somebody to get it down for me because obviously I couldn't reach. And I saw it on the side like that. I knew exactly what it was when I saw that. So I was super excited. And yeah, here it is. And I'm super happy to share this vehicle with you and show you what it's like. So let's get right to it. All right, you guys, now here is the vehicle itself. And as you can see, it is a very nice looking piece. Now Hasbro did do a good job making it look realistic. It looks like it's made of metal. It's very nice, deep gray color. There's a little bit of green splattered here and there, and just a little dash of red at the top, a little bit of orange. It's very interesting. It does look great though. And just from all angles, it is a very nice looking piece. Now we did see these on Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith, and I think they were trying to do something similar to the ATTE, but a little bit smaller because it does kind of have a shared aesthetic with that vehicle. It's just kind of a more compact version, but the legs look the same. The overall design is very similar, and it looks really good. It is a tripod design, so I don't know how effective that would actually be in battle, but nonetheless, it looks really cool. And when it's a Star Wars vehicle we're talking about, that's probably the most important thing. I do kind of feel like maybe they could have added a little more color here at the back, but, not a big deal because it just looks really nice looking all around. And the way that it's posed, it's a little bit awkward when you're posing it, and we'll go over the articulation and show you why that is. But you can see it's not like perfectly flat. It's kind of a little bit up at an angle. It's really tricky. It's hard to get it dialed in just right, and I'll show you the joints and all that. But just aesthetically speaking, I think that it looks really good. It's got these really long guns here at the top. So this thing really looks like it means business, and that's awesome. I just really like the design and the overall aesthetic of it. It's pretty lightweight. It's not anything like super heavy duty or anything, but compared to the stuff they're doing nowadays, I would say that it's pretty solid. So I'll just give you a closer look at the AT-AP, and I like it. I mean, these little doors, I do wish that they kind of clipped on so that they wouldn't be so wobbly. Maybe just like snapped in at the bottom or something. It doesn't do that, so if you are moving it around, you do just kind of got to be careful of that. You don't accidentally lift that up and your figures fall out. but showing you what that actually looks like in there. And it's a really cool design. I like how they give it this open sort of way of putting your figures in there, because it does make it a whole lot easier when you're trying to get them in there. And from the opposite side, it's going to be the exact same thing. You're just going to plop it open like that. And you can see the inside, it's pretty simplistic. There's a little bit of sculpting in there. You got some petals for the feet. I don't know if in the movie this is exactly how it was. I don't know if it was a little more decked out. We never got to see the inside, so maybe it would have been a little more ornate. But basically, when you have your figures, and we're just going to take the standard Anniversary Collection 41st Elite Corps Kashyyyk Trooper, and we're going to go ahead and throw him in there. So we're just going to just kind of adjust him in a way that makes him, well, his hand fell off, pose him in a way that, enables him to be comfortable, because he's going to be in there for probably a little while. So you can just kind of slide him in there. Because of the way that the back is on these figures, you can see that it kind of does push them forward. It's a little bit of an awkward design for the figure, but it fits in there perfectly. As you can see, there's no crampiness. It's not too loose. It's pretty much a perfect fit. So that is quite nice. And then we'll just go ahead and close it. And then we'll go ahead and add another figure over on this side. And slide him in there like that. We're going to close that. And now we got two AT-AT pilots in place, but we also have this gunner station up top. And we need somebody to put up there. So we'll go ahead and grab another one of these guys, and we'll just orient him in a way that way he's up there just fine like that. Should we have that up or down? Probably down. And you can see that up here, they did place these handlebars on there. That way when you put your figure in, just kind of got to split the legs a little bit. It's kind of a tight fit for these guys. There we go. Get it on the other side. And you will notice that on this side of the vehicle, you do get some screw holes. So, that's kind of par for the course. There we go. So now we have the gunner up top. And I think that looks really nice. He's not really protected. I mean, I don't see why you would go through the trouble of protecting these other two guys that are actually piloting it. But when it comes to the poor gunner up here, he's pretty exposed. So yeah, he's just got to keep an eye out for separatist enemy fire. But all in all, once you have it decked out, I think it looks really great. It's a fantastic looking vehicle. And Hasbro actually did go back and repaint it a few years later after this release. They did it in a very similar paint scheme with more of a lighter sort of a beige gray kind of color, and then some more green elements that were carried a little more thoroughly than what you see here. Overall, I think I prefer this one because it is film accurate, and I think it looks pretty realistic. So now, as far as the joints go, and this is what I was saying earlier, is pretty tricky, is it kind of looks like you have all this articulation here, but you actually don't. Really, you only get two joints for these two back legs, and one's going to be up here. It's kind of a hip joint. You can see it's ratcheted. It's very loud. And it's pretty tough to move. And the other one's going to be right here, more at this hip sort of thing. And it's ratcheted too, but it isn't quite as hard to move. So you don't really have a whole lot of options for posing it when it comes to those legs. And, it is kind of hard to do. That's why it's kind of oriented a little bit upward. It doesn't look bad by any means, but you can see that center leg isn't flush on the ground. Now this one right here does rotate up top. Oops. See what I mean? I wish these would lock down. Make it a little easier for me, but they don't. And that's really all you can do. So it's almost impossible to get it flush on the surface. Maybe that's about as close as we're going to get. Now it still looks really good. You have this placed in a diorama, you wouldn't notice that at all. It's just one of those things. It could be tweaked a little bit to be improved, but to be honest, at this point, I highly doubt Hasbro's ever going to do anything like this again. It just ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Now, there is a launching missile up top because no Star Wars vehicle is complete without launching missiles. So we can actually do that too. Now, to do that, you're going to see there is a little button right there. Simply press it like that. And it launches out. It doesn't come out too hard or anything, but you can launch it, which is nice. And you can also rotate this top gun right there, well, until it comes off. You can rotate it just a little bit. Just don't overdo it. Otherwise, it'll come out. And then the bottom one as well, you can rotate too, like that. This one doesn't come out though, because it is attached underneath. It actually plugs in. Now, one of the great things about the ATAP is that it totally lends itself to being added into a very cool diorama or setup on your shelf. Now, Hasbro has been awesome about creating Kashyyyk-related toys. In fact, I would say that Kashyyyk is the most supported battle that we see in Revenge of the Sith, rivaled only by Geonosis, which also got lots of support with toys, not only for Attack of the Clones, but also in the Clone Wars and subsequent lines as well. And I happen to have most of the Kashyyyk-related toys and vehicles and stuff. I'm not going to bring them all out, but to give you an example, you could throw in Commander because he's got to be present to lead these guys, right? And then maybe even that clone over there because you never can have too many clones. And we also need some Wookiees because after all, this is Kashyyyk. And what are we missing here? Oh yes, Master Yoda. So as you can see, you really could go all out if you really wanted to. Hasbro has done tons of Wookiee figures. They've done other vehicles like the Clone Turbo Tank, the Swamp Speeder, plenty of Clone Troopers, and even quite a few Separatist-related toys and vehicles like the Clone Gunship, the Corporate Alliance Tank Droid, the Dwarf Spider Droid, and plenty of battle droids, even some camouflage battle droids, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, they did all that stuff, so if you really wanted to do something quite awesome as far as a diorama goes, you really could do that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars, the 30th Anniversary Collection ATAP. Overall, you guys, I think this is a really great vehicle. Aesthetically speaking, it looks fantastic. It's got a great paint scheme. It looks pretty realistic. It's got a nice metallic look about it. They could have gone a little bit further and added more of a wash to it, maybe highlighted some of the details a little bit better. But overall, I really like the color scheme. It's very simplistic, but it's very effective, and I really like how you can launch the missile, add the action figures in there. It's nice how you can put 3 figures in there, not just 1. I do have some issue with the articulation. It could have been a little bit better. That way you could orient the legs a little bit better, but by and large, they did a really nice job with it. If you have a Kashyyyk diorama going, then this is absolutely something you need to have in your collection because it just works so well. And it's a piece I'm really happy to have in my collection. And whether you get this version or the repainted version that came after this, you really can't go wrong. It's very solid through and through. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, do give us a like, do subscribe, let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.